Hi there. I think this is like try number 5 or 6 trying to do this goddamn video because I do not know how to aim a phone. I just don't. I really suck. And then like when I'm trying to like show something, I always like accidentally like hit the stop button and stuff. Okay, look, we're going to go over 3 things today. Okay, we are going to go over Genesight and basically what that report looks like, what it goes over. We are going to go over something called the MTHFR variant gene. Um, or gene variant, pardon me. And then I'm going to show you a little hack for those of you that might not be able to get Genesight for whatever reason, and you still want to test whether you have the MTHFR gene or you want to know some information about how your body reacts to medications. I have a second way that you can do it that is cheap. And the only thing, though, is that it requires that you have a genealogical DNA thing, such as Ancestry, 23andMe, because basically what you do is you upload your information from that site to this one site that works. When it checks the genes, it's more in terms of for health reasons. Basically, it'll give you a big, ginormous health report. It can tell you. There's also ways where I can also like help tell you how you. Well, I already mentioned that I can tell you about how ways that you can learn about the MTHFR gene, but there's also a second site where you can learn a little bit of information about how you react to different medications. So, all right, let's start with the Genesight. I'm sorry, I'm like getting attacked by a mosquito. So, this is what the Genesight report looks like. All right. Shoot. Excuse me. So this is for antipsychotics. This one particular page, how I react to them. You can see it like has a very, very simple green, yellow, red format where the greens apparently you can use as directed. Yellow, there's some moderate gene drug interactions, and then the reds you want to avoid. Now, let me explain something to you. As you see there, Vraylar is in the green, so that we tell you a little bit something about Vraylar. God, this mosquito. Vraylar is a medication that I took quite a while ago, only for a week. And within that week, I developed very, very acute akathisia and dystonia, where my limbs were twisted everywhere to the point where I could barely even walk. Why is that in the green, you say? This is why. When it comes to Genesight, they are not looking at, or just gene markers in general, they're not looking at the chemicals in your brain. And they don't know that I have low dopamine levels because I have a history of akathisia and then I'm going to react to it. And quite frankly, for the most part, Genesight is not going to tell you how you react to a medication. Unless you have like a very, very severe toxicity, then it'll probably tell you. But that's not what Genesight's really for. It won't tell you how you react. What it will tell you, however, is how you metabolize a medication. And why this is important for your doctors is they would like to know, whether you need to be at a lower or a higher dosage. Now, for myself, as you can see, I have a lot of ones next to here with the yellows. So what does that mean? Well, when you look down here, it says serum level may be too high, low dosages may be required. So what I learned is for an awful lot of psychiatric medications. I am a slow metabolizer. Basically, my liver just works slower, and I have medications. You know, they just kind of store in my body, and obviously, I need a lower dose for these certain medications. It's obviously very, very important to know because, come to think of it now, it's quite possible that one of the reasons why I got akathisia so bad is because I've been given so much meds that my body just couldn't process, so it got overloaded. Right? Doesn't that make sense? Right. I think so. So let's look at like a few other things that this test. Like this is one test that I read. Well, actually two, I should say. I came back with. Okay, I can see. Here we go. So this here is a test concerning SSRIs and my response to them, which is normal. And it also tests whether I have a higher risk of Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which I thankfully have a lower risk of receiving. For those of you that don't know what Stevens-Johnson is, that's lamictal rash. Basically, it's not just a rash, it's a form of necrosis that one can get. It literally eats skin off of your body. It's very gnarly, and it's very common with... Well, no, it's not very common with lamictal. It's very well known with lamictal. It's actually very rare. And here's some like important markers that the test took regarding metabolism. And you can see with two of them, it says that like my allele enzyme level, allele enzyme activity is reduced, and that I'm an intermediate metabolizer. Well, that's just showing you that I'm a slower metabolizer, like I stated before, which is why some of these medications always end up in the yellow for me. And, okay, the last page that I want to show on the report was the MTHFR. One bit, I'm going to tell you a little bit about that first, so, like, what it stands for. Okay. MTHFR stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. Okay, and the mutation or the variant can lead to high homocysteine, which is an amino acid, and low folate and other B vitamins. So, now, not only can having this variant deplete B vitamins, particularly folate, it can lead to a number of other conditions, such as psychiatric conditions. They state bipolar as being one of them. Myopia, gait abnormalities, high blood pressure. But why it is so important and why I have every one of you, please, if you can, test yourselves for this. Because if you do have it, it can definitely make a big difference in how your body metabolizes medications. That's right. If you have this variant, it can greatly alter how medications are metabolized by your body. A lot of people had this variant are the types that are like, oh, I've tried this medication. None of these medications seem to work for me. A lot of those people are people with this variant. You have a greater chance of having this if you are Irish, German, Norwegian, or from Qatar. There's nationalities for they tend to have a higher risk. But really, this is beyond common, let me tell you. Okay, so there's basically two variants. Okay? One of these variants is C677T. That mutation occurs in about 38% of people worldwide. That's how common this shit is. Okay? Now, there is the second variant, which there's a little bit more limited research on this variant, so nobody really totally knows how many people have it. But that would be the A1298C mutation, in which case they guesstimate 40% of the population has it. So, yeah, you have like a 40% chance of having at least one of these variants. I do. Okay. So, let's get back to the report. Wait. Shit. Excuse me. Okay. So, we're back to the Genesight report. Now, this states that I'm a normal metabolizer for the MTHFR gene. And what this one specifically tests is, I hope I'm zooming in on it, is the C677T polymorphism. And it's saying I don't have it. And it's so darn important. Look, somebody even has a signature. It's so darn important. Get tested, guys. Anyway, so. So let me put that away. And now we're going to get to the computer and how you can gain this information yourself. Okay. So, first off, the program is called Prometheus. Prometheus is $12. Basically, you just go to, okay, it's spelled PROMETHEASE. So all you do is you upload like an Ancestry DNA, 23andMe file, and it'll give you this report very, very quickly. Like, I think it took like a couple of days for me, maybe. Like I said, it's $12, and it gives you a ton of information, like when it comes to health markers mostly. But it'll also like tell you if you're more likely to have blue eyes versus brown eyes and things of that nature. You know, they're kind of fun. Now, this being said, I want to mention like how many of your genes are tested versus how many you have as a human being. Okay, so they test what are called SNPs. Now, an SNP is a single nucleotide polymorphism. Okay? Roughly there are 600 million of these in you, in the human body. So, how many do like these sites test for? Okay, remember 600 million is how many you have, roughly. Like Ancestry.com, they test 700,000, roughly. Not even close to 600 million. 700,000. Okay, 23andMe is roughly 640,000, and those are like the two sites I know of that like test the most, you know, and then it goes lower. So, as you can see, it only tests so much. And even if you like come up with a marker for something, don't be alarmed. Because chances are, like, I'm kind of like giving you a warning when it comes to Prometheus that like a lot of people get worried because like I know for me like I had like this really rare gene mutation that says that I can get cardiomyopathy. Well, guess what? I also have like maybe like 40 markers for cardiomyopathy and the majority of them say that I don't, that I'm good, you know? So genes they I don't necessarily understand the science of it, but you know, it's more complex than that. And you have like many markers in the body that it's impossible to tell you absolute specifics when it comes to Prometheus. But what it can tell you is these two markers for MTHFR or the motherfucker gene. Okay, so here we go, and I'm going to get on my computer and I will show you what this looks like, and hopefully I will not screw it up because I'm really horrible at like aiming at the screen. And I'm probably going to cut things off, and you're probably not going to be able to read things, but hopefully you'll get an idea. Come on. Okay, so I am currently opening up Prometheus. Just waiting for my very slow computer. And here I am. Okay, can you guys see this? This is what Prometheus looks like. See, it tells me that I am female. I do that. Like right here, it tells me that I'm have a variant more linked to blue eye color. Like there's still 1,001 other eye markers. My eyes are green. And then it has another gene right there that tells me like a risk for obesity. But okay, here we go. So let's look up here at this tab. Now what this tab has is topics, medical conditions, ClinVar, magnitudes. Magnitudes, the higher the magnitude number, the more likely and like scientifically sound it is. You know, if it's like a 1, you know, it's kind of, well, the medical community is kind of looking into this, but they don't know yet. You know, that sort of things. So, okay. So let me like show you like I really stink at this. Okay. Like when it comes to topics, see it has things such as aging, anger, appearance, breast size, how you react to cannabis, endurance, eye color, freckling, memory, mental health, micronutrient metabolism. See, there's a lot, right? And then, God, there's even more. Like, medical conditions. Tells you, will give you information on things such as addiction risk, alcoholism, Alzheimer's, ankylosing spondylitis, atrial fibrillation, bipolar disorder. My God, there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of info. because I personally use Ancestry, so I got roughly 700,000 genes being explored in here for me. See this? Deficiencies, cataracts, macular degeneration. It just goes on and on and on. Bit. What are we looking for, people? We are looking for the MTHFR gene, right? So let us go there. If I can find it. Oh, shucks. And right here, we have it. MTHFR deficiency 2. Okay, now guys, I'm hoping one of you at least have caught this. There are 2 variants, correct? Now, the Genesight, okay, I'm upside down, aren't I? Yeah. I'm probably flipping you guys all over the map. Alright, so when it comes to Genesight, it only has the one marker. This one has both, so you can see both. Yay! Alright, now as you can see with the second one, see this was the first one, alright? This is the gene, the C677T, that this is the one that Genesight tested. And just as it says, it's good. It's good. Now, going up, this here would be the A1298C. And as you can see, it says bad. Now, okay, this is something you guys should know about, okay? God, no. I hate trying to aim this darn thing. Okay, you guys see that? Okay. The RS with the number, that is the SNP. Basically the gene that you're researching. Okay, now, there are 2 little letters here, A and C. Now, I'm going to explain to you the significance of those, because they are very, very important if you do research one here. Those are called alleles, okay? Now, an allele is like this. You've probably seen a DNA strand, right? Like how it circles. There's 2 strands, right, that twist around each other. You got 2 chromosomes there, right? So, that's why you have 2 alleles, is that you have an allele for each chromosome. Now, that being said, there are basically 4 alleles that you'll come across on Prometheus. There's A, which stands for adenine. There's T, that stands for thymine. There's G, that stands for guanine. And C, that stands for cytosine. So A, T, G, and C. Now, when it comes here, I have possibly impaired folate. Now, let me explain this. Okay. There is what is called homogeneous or heterozygous, okay? Which is basically if you have 2 of the same alleles or just 1. Now, I only have one, which is less severe than if I were to have two. So I have like a partially impaired. As in, if I had two of the same allele that is of this variant, it would be worse. Okay. Now, that being said, I'm going to show you another site. And this is another thing that you should know. And this is going to be kind of like, it's very annoying. I'm going to show you a second site that you can get information from specifically about your medications. That's called Farm KGB. Farm KGB. Now, the thing with the alleles is, like I said, you only got two of them. This gets kind of confusing, okay? Basically, A is like the same as T, and G is the same as C. And basically, it has to look, depending on the way that you look at the DNA strand from the front or from the back, is whether you'll like see the A or the T or the G or the C. You're just looking like you're looking at it backwards, or from the other side, I should say. Now, when you go to like Farm KGB, they tend to look at the DNA from the other side, okay? So, like I said, A is T and G is C, right? So, you see the ACE, I have AC for this one particular gene that we're looking at right now, right? So, what would that be? That would be like TG, all right? And now that we go, all right, I'm about to log onto Farm KGB and show you the sort of information you can get there and how these alleles become reversed. How it can be confusing if you don't know that. Okay. For some reason, Farm KGB does not work on Safari, but it works on Firefox. I don't know why, but if you're somebody like me that likes Safari and they end up with a blank page, try a different browser. All right, Farm KGB. Yay, okay. So, this is what I'm going to do. I am going to paste this SNP into Farm KGB, and we're going to see the MTHFR gene variant that I came up partially bad for. We're putting that SNP into Farm KGB and seeing what comes up. So you get an idea of what sort of info you can get from this site. Here we go, and it starts out looking like this. Okay, you guys see this? Wait, here we go. All right. I really stink a hole in this phone. Sorry, guys. So it obviously, tells you about MTHFR, but it has clinical annotations, variant annotations, drug label annotations, all these. Well, let's click on this variant annotation, why don't we? Interesting. Now, you can see like right here, it's faint. I'm sorry about that, but that's just, they just kind of print faint on this page. It mentions like the drugs, clozapine, alazapine, right? So now it's going to tell you like how you can react to these different medications. Ain't that cool? Oh, shucks. Did I just... Yeah, alright. I'm not really good at this. Somebody with like the genotype GG or CC, she is obviously the bad gene, for MTHFR, it would appear. Genotype GG is associated with increased weight gain when treated with clozapine or olanzapine in people with schizoaffective disorder and schizophrenia as compared to genotype GT. Okay, so now we're learning, like, if you were somebody that had GG or CC, you could have increased weight gain when these medications, if you were on them. And it goes on to talk about other medications, like, has information on pactilibide and, which I'm not familiar with, methotrexate. See? Gives you all sorts of information on them and how you can react with the genes that you now know from Prometheus. Ta-da! So, and actually, if you go on Prometheus, they actually do have a box that is specifically for farm KGB that'll give you, like, if you look at that sidebar, and they'll tell you like a bunch of information on medications that you don't have to look up, just like that. So hopefully that'll give you guys some useful information, and I thank you very much.